Urbain Jean Joseph Leverrier is best known for finding Neptune, telling the astronomers in Berlin where to look. They looked and found it. In 1843, he wrote, "No planet has extracted more pain and trouble of the astronomers than Mercury, and has rewarded them with so much anxiety and given them so many obstacles." My goodness. Why is it on Ray 4? What he found, because what was going on is that Mercury wasn't transiting the sun at the time or necessarily even the day that it was supposed to. It was often a day early or a day later or the wrong time of the day. So he went through and found that there was a problem. There was 38 seconds of arc missing, unaccounted for. And that's how he found Neptune. The same problem with Uranus. Well, it had to be a planet inside the orbit of the sun. And so shortly thereafter, he got a letter from a French doctor. Said, "Oh, I saw a planet go across the sun." And the guy really did a neat description of it, and Leverrier talked about it, went and saw him, and they fought. And so anyway, bottom line is, it actually turned out to be 43 seconds worth of arc. And when Einstein published his general theory of special relativity, guess what? That accounted for it. No need for Vulcan. So, in the meantime, there have been hundreds of supposed observations, and none of them, a lot of them, I've not gone through all of them astrologically, but for example, at the eclipse in 1878 out west in the U.S., Neptune. Two people saw two different planets transiting the sun, not in the same spot. Neptune was there big time. So, Vulcan, I first ran across it when I heard Alan Okun speak about it 25 years ago. And I started looking into it, and that's how part of the reason why I got into esoteric astrology. And what happened was that there were two proposed orbits for Vulcan. And I'm cutting a lot out. One is by the Weston Stahl orbit, which was based on observations made by the astronomers. And I started looking at it, running charts with them, and wait a minute, they weren't right. The positions were wrong. So I went in and looked at the mathematics of it. There are certain astronomical parameters, and when I took one set, which were givens, and translated them the one way, I got different answers. And the other way, I got different answers. What can you do? No good. The other one that's in Solar Fire and other programs is Baker's. Basically, it's a satellite of Mercury, always within 3 degrees. Problem with that is Mercury does not have the gravity to hold any satellite. And the other thing about that is such a satellite in the real physical world would have been seen. Now, the interesting thing is all right, here's what DK says. Vulcan is an intramercurial planet. Treaty of Sun Cosmic Fire. Yeah, Nicholas. Give me a minute. Vulcan is within the orbit of Mercury. Hence the recent discovery of Pluto and the sensed power of Vulcan, veiled by the potency of Mercury and hidden behind that planet. Within our solar system, Vulcan and Pluto are expressions and custodians of the first ray energy and are, as I've told you, esoteric planets. The first indication of the true spiritual will only begin on the path of discipleship. Hence the late discovery of these two planets. Physical. Since 1998, which is the last time I gave this lecture, there have been a number, basically the possibility of volcanoids, small planets, was opened up by the celestial mechanic theorists, and one of the orbits fit very nicely into the whole scheme of things. What NASA did was to have a jet fighter go up towards the sun and look for it. No go. Hubble can't get close enough to the sun. And I just recently saw in the paper that the Mercury orbiter finally is on station at Mercury. Now, I don't know, it was some thought of it being in the plans for that, for Mercury to be the orbiter to look for volcanoids. I don't know. I will do some checking. Okay, Nicholas? Okay, basically, what happened is that several times when a planet, in order to transit the sun, has to be retrograde. According to the calculations, Vulcan was direct, which means it was going behind the sun. Okay, that was one problem. That plus, as I said, if you have an eccentricity of orbit and a perihelion or the circular orbit, it should translate into some other numbers by very simple formulas. And what they gave for those numbers did not translate into the other numbers that were given. So it was very simply just sloppy math. And neither Weston nor Stahl, when he checked on it many years later, caught that. Okay, so how do we find? What? No. You can generate one, but it's incorrect. There is no ephemeris. Okay, where is Vulcan? It's the maximum elongation is 8 degrees 20 minutes from the sun. It spends most of its time, technically it's always conjunct, but it spends most of its time within 2 degrees. How do you find it? There are basically 2 ways. One is pure intuition. And what you got to remember that the Tibetan keeps saying, veiled by the moon. That's a key point. And what I was able to do earlier today with a couple is just move the moon within 8 degrees of the sun, and it always will happen. If you do it by 15 degrees increments. And I mean, when I took a look at the chart that Leone did, I just bing right between the sun and I forget what the next planet was. But yeah, that gave it a whole bunch of power too. The other thing, and yeah, it's in
degrees of the sun on either side.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a good starting point. Now the other way is, as Michael well knows from a long time ago, looking at Pluto transits to the sun. Okay, most of the time, Vulcan, as I said, is going to between 2 degrees of the sun or 4 degrees of the sun. And the effects of Pluto transit using 2-degree orbs is going to be commingling Vulcan with the sun. Now, if it's between 4 and 8 on either side, the effects will be different. It will only affect Vulcan, which will be pure ray 1, rather than Vulcan and the sun, which is rays 1 and 2. So the outward manifestations would be a lot different. For example, hurricanes would be the ray 1, or tornadoes, that type of deal. You just got to get a feel for it, though. For volcanoes, yeah. Yeah. And so that's the real short version. Because I played around with it a lot back then, and at the conference in '98, remember we had a session, and after a while I just began to start seeing rather than trying to calculate, and it turned out that yeah, and I took a look at what I wrote in here on that, and yeah, I had some Pluto stuff in it, but again, the moon being the veil is the whole key. So, okay. Any other questions? As I mentioned, hopefully by Wednesday, I have all the stuff that was in. This is the early copy of the book. I have all the files for the latest copy, and I can put together a slideshow by Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, I will be happy to look at your charts. If Michael has your name in here, Nicholas, I think I've done yours month. Okay. Yeah, you are.
I'll do the looking up. Okay?
Okay.
I'll do the looking up today.
Okay, can you, doesn't look. Okay. It can do either. Yeah. Let's see. Moon, 12 at 17. It would be at 17. Libra. 30. Boom. 12. 12. Right. Okay. Right there. 30. For 2 times. 4 times. Yeah. Okay, who else?
So it would be 12
Right.
Now, if we go back, it would be
Right, yeah. Yeah, or it would be 29. It would be 29, which is beyond 8 degrees. East of the sun, right. You're 4:15.
4:15. Okay, well, Dale?
Okay. Sun's at 19, moon's at 1, so that would be 16 Cancer. Yeah.
16 Cancer.
Right.
The one before 16 Cancer would be 1
Sir, 2, yeah.
or 1.
Or would be 1 Leo. You would be 1 Leo, but that's too far. Howie? Okay, 22, be 15 Cancer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Howie? Sure. No, because it's 8:20. It's not, if it were, it would be the closer of the two, but you're talking about a difference of 7:30. again, you know, this is what has shown up in experience. Okay. 18, 20, 33, it'd be 33 or 3 cap. Oh, no, oh, it's 8. 8. So that still, no, you would still add 30. 20. No, 8 is, that's a 3. Oh, that's an 8. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's 23. $27 Aries. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. 14, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh, I know where mine is. Yeah, it's at 10. Believe me. Yeah. Yeah, Bob? It's 10 Capricorn, and that was through some experience, some transits, that type of deal, because in theory it should have been 18. Okay, it's not a guarantee that it's right what I'm saying about the moon, but it's a good guide. And it'll give you an area to look at, and particularly the thing would be to go back and look at Pluto transits to your sun, because you've all had a hard aspect, at least 1 and probably 2 by now. Okay? Well, it'd be 27 Sag. Yeah. Moon. Yeah, yeah. Three Virgo, be Gemini 18. $11 Aries, 11 plus 26 Aries, 26 Capricorn, yeah. 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 uh, 15 and 0, be dead, about dead conjunct at 15 Cancer. Be 11. Yeah. Yeah. Well, right there. This is, yeah. Okay, if you could bring it back up. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. 13 and 14. 14? Well, you were a good case. Well, be 15. Yeah.
The big numbers are the degrees. The little numbers are
The outer numbers.
the outer numbers are degrees.
Yeah.
It looks like 26 plus 7. It's like
No, no, that's too far. The 7 plus 15 is 22.
7 plus 15? Okay, yeah. Okay, that's 22. Yeah, that's right. Okay, who else do we have? Right. Give it to me again, last name? Palmer. There you are. Okay.
8 and 16 and ooh,
This is tough.
yeah.
This is right between. Like 1 degree or something. 119.
It has to be the one because it's Okay, this is a case where the 20 minutes makes a difference.
Okay.
So it'd be one Cancer.
Or one Capricorn.
Capricorn, yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. Let's look here. I know you're down by the bottom there. Tom. Okay. Yeah.
19.
What is that degree? It's hidden by the midheaven. What's your degree of your sun? 9?
That's what, 8
It's 8 and 9.
up there. It's 8. 23. Or 23, no.
This is a 9-degree thing here. This is 9 degrees.
Oh, okay, then it's 9.
Yeah.
9 Aquarius.
It looks like when your moon is in exact aspect with your sun, it's
Yeah.
always going to be pretty close. Okay, and so Nicholas, you had a different variation on yours? Hey, I'm looking.
Right there.
Okay. All right. Huh. So that would be a long 27.
Yeah.
Okay, that wouldn't add up in terms of your approach, right, David? Because the closest you could get him would be
16, or
19.
19, yeah.
That would be the closest you could get him from your angle. So that's a discrepancy of 8 degrees.
It did, however, coincide with Stahl, because he made some ephemeris for the years when I was born, around that time.
Yeah,
And he was exactly as he gave it. Interesting.
yeah. Well, the style of, you can generate a style ephemeris in solar fire.
Not the Stahl, the West.
Yeah, well, the Weston is the Weston orbit, and then Carl Stahl worked on it and modified it. And the elements in it are, even though it says Weston, are Stahls. Okay.
It's a completely different position.
Okay, yeah, I remember that now, yeah. Yeah.
So the Western doesn't fit for me. The Stahl seems to fit for me. And the Stahl is not in solar. It's not in solar.
Okay, but they're the same problems crop up, I know, because I looked at them.
Okay, well, you guys can handle the details later for technical points. Look, everybody. So now you have a theory about where your Vulcan may be.
Okay, and please, this is my email address. Okay, and please, because again, I wasn't planning on doing anything, and this is all.
Here you are.
Yeah.
Here you are. There's an element of spontaneity in this whole thing. But look, if you're going to go to the dance, you have to eat dinner soon,
Right.
lightly. So we should not go further. David, we appreciate very much
No problem.
your presentation, and thank you.